Well, hello there. Maybe I'm live. Am I live? Yeah, looks like I'm live. Usual deal. Can't really tell. Looking promising. Looks like it's going out on the interweb. All right. So today we're doing two things. We're going to have a look at High Iron's pack.
You're live.
Thank you, Michael. We're going to have a look at High Iron's pack, the one that's got the incredibly shitty reviews, because to be honest with you, it doesn't really deserve the heat it's getting. Now, it's got some issues, definitely got some issues, but the scenarios are actually fairly good. So, let's start with the El Capitan. And as Michael knows, that was a last minute thing. There we go. Loading up. It's looking very black. Very, very black. It's going well. Oh, there we go. I was getting just a little bit worried there, just quietly, that was doing something very strange. Now, I'm not running the head tracking today because I started it up and it was only working in one axis, so I thought, oh, I won't worry about it. Hey, you know what? We're in the F3. This is not the scenario I wanted. God damn it. Quit. Yes. I think I was right the first time, Michael. I was just looking at the wrong route. Michael and I had a chat before the stream. Alright, let's change routes. Let's do this properly, because I want to show you the Warbonnet. No, don't go in there. Let's go to Raton Pass. Ratty Pass. And we're going to do... Where is it? There it is. The El Capitan westbound. That's what we're going to do. Because there's no point showing you the F3, because the F3 is pox. The F3 does deserve the complaints it's getting. That's okay. Well, not really. Not if you're paying for it. But the other things are okay. Load your passengers. All right then. Passengers loading. Let's have a look outside. Now, this looks, to me, remarkably like a U30. But, is it horrible? No. Some of its lighting's a bit meh, like that light's right in the middle of the two of them. But that's okay. I suppose we should actually... Ooh, it is going to work with Raildriver. Minimum production. Okay, the brakes can stay where they are. Oh, let's put them on a bit, actually. And let's do that to get rid of the detent so it works properly with Raildriver. There we go. Minimum reduction. Perfect. How about a horn? It's not terrible. And watching the videos on YouTube, I reckon it kind of sounds okay. Hello, NJTE. Yes, indeed. Sometimes streams don't go that well, but that's okay. We'll have fun anyway, won't we? There's not a lot of viewers today. This tells you how popular the High Iron pack is, but that's okay. Hopefully people watch this on playback, and they'll see that it's not as awful. Still loading our passengers. Why don't we have a look at the passenger view while we're here? Pretty boring Amtrak view. Let's go up the front. You can open windows, I think. All aboard! I want to open a window though. There we go. I knew you can open windows. Oh, chat disconnected. Chat successfully connected. Do you know, I actually rebooted my router this morning, so that wouldn't happen. But it did anyway. ATSF second 17 lead unit ATSF 353 will operate as governed by timetable and subject to signal indications and dispatcher radio instructions. Proceed to Raton Passenger Depot where new orders will be issued. Alright. I better put that back in running or it's going to explode. No, it doesn't have running. Okay. Let's get some grunt happening. Indeed, black box recordings can be really sad. Listening with some humans desperately struggling to control their machines. It's a bit like a streamer. Sometimes you're watching a streamer and you're watching the streamer desperately struggling to control their machine, and it's not going well. So does this sound good? I think so. It seems to match what these locomotives sound like. It is mixed a little loud, which means the TSC artifacts when things are mixed a little loud do happen. Where's Chicago telling me off for not doing 14L? But it kind of sounds the way these locos do, which is DC traction motors with big diesels. And we are, of course, speeding. So we'll just go back to notch 1 just to keep it stretched. So how is everybody today? Michael and NJTE, and there's someone else watching who hasn't said hi, which is fine, but if you'd like to say hi, feel free. And I can see already that there's actually people running behind the stream. So if you look down in the bottom row of your thing, there's a little thing that says live. If that's got a grey dot, you're running behind the stream. If you click that, it will have a red dot that says you're running on the stream. That looks like a whistleboard to me. Can we get a reflection shot? Oops, too far. Yes, we can. I'm going to collect lots of screenshots and send them all to our little Chicago mate, because he does it to me all the time. I think we should do another one here, don't you? I've got a goal. I'm going to send him 100 screenshots today. There he is. How do we know you're not little? And there you go, a beautiful and perfect 14L, and he wasn't even here. Oh, there he is! God, are you that young? Wow. Can't speed up yet. What's funny though, Chicago, is I don't have to do a 14L for these, because this would be late 60s, I think. Where 14L did not apply. And that's okay. Hello, Jonah. Welcome. Train. SD45s. Now it's time for that thing that Chicago doesn't like. Oh, I've already got a low speed zone. Suppose I better do something about that, huh? Let's jump in the cab so I can actually see the brake gauges. You do need to be able to see the brake gauges in this because one of the cool things about... And there's Michael's phone. One of the cool things about Smokebox's brake scripting that I really like is that the brake gauges are necessary to understand what's going on, which is good. There we go, we got round that corner fine. Welcome to Jansen. Shall we have a celebratory honk for being in Jansen? Why not? Well, the regulations existed, but yes, they were different. I am a firm believer that 14L, given the United States, is the only country that does it. Everywhere else in the world, nothing or this is adequate. It's a... one thing the US loves to do is to protect dumb people. Yeah, I kind of think we shouldn't. Dumb people should be left to their own devices. Otherwise your gene pool gets awfully shallow. Bridge. Gratuitous bridge shot. Oh, that's a geometrically shaped river. Could have had some smoothing there. So what do you people think the announcement is on UK Tuesday and US Tuesday and everybody else's Tuesday except Australia and New Zealand, Brazil, everybody else in South America, Patagonia, Mexico. Oh, no, it is Mexico. Yeah, it fits in Mexico. See, that's how they'd really do it.
Guess we'll have to wait and see.
Well, how about some speculation? What do you think it is? This is getting quite steep, isn't it? More grunt. So NJTE reckons it's TSW3.
It's got to be TSW3, can't be anything else.
And Michael reckons it's TSW3, and I'll just turn him up a bit because he's a bit quiet. There we go. So what does Chicago think it is? Chicago thinks it's Metra. And Jonah Cantro says, in rural areas like these, engineers blow the horn very little. Yeah, I'd agree with that, Jonah. Because as long as you can see the crossing. In our little railway, we blow the whistle because, you know, it's fun. And NJT says, it's only been 2 years since the last one. Do you mean 2 years since TSW2? Now, if you're listening to that strange, echoey sort of sound like the game's playing inside a shoebox, or inside a pipe, perhaps, that's the sound I mean when it's been mixed too loud. It's clipping. There's nothing you can do about that when you're playing the game, because it's how it was mixed originally. But if you look at it on a VU meter, your little meters will be... Oops, sorry, whacked my microphone. Yeah, so there's been a couple of what I'd suggest are probably well-planned leaks that we saw for TSW3 with JD accidentally mentioning it. Accidentally. And then, of course, in Kat's livery stream, there it was sitting in her browser bookmarks bar. So I think we've had a couple of accidental releases about it. But we'll have to wait and see if that's what it really is or not. Who knows? This route's slightly annoying. I actually have to keep an eye on it. NJT asks, have I experienced Z fighting in TSC? I don't actually know what that is. There's a truck floating in the air. And a car. That's always funny when the draw distance for the animated thing is different for the draw distance for the non-animated thing, so you don't see the non-animated thing. Slightly funny. So if I accept the premise that you're proposing, what routes would you want to see? And are you going to watch the stream on American Tuesday on the Dovetail channel? Jonah says it's a visual glitch with colliding scenery. Often it's the LOD is actually different, so one might have a fairly close-in LOD, and that draws in, and the other thing has a more distant LOD, so the game hasn't actually drawn it because it's so far away.
I'll be watching. Probably be later in the day.
So we shall see. I didn't even honk at all for that crossing. Uh-oh. Chicago's going to yell at me. Excuse me. So NJT says Z fighting is when two things on top of each other start clipping with each other, and it gets worse the further you're away from the 0 point. Okay. I'm sure I have seen it. I see a train coming. So that's one of the things I'm talking about. It drew the train before it drew the scenery. So the train was just hanging there. No, he didn't notice NJT. I'm tipping he's not paying attention. Just like I'm not paying attention and I am now going too fast. The noise when it transitions between notches isn't beautiful. It's not awful, but it's not beautiful. I know what I'd love to see in the game. I'd love to see something from Australia, but I know how unrealistic that is. Because the game is a small market by itself. And Australia's even a smaller market. And all of the Australian developers are sucked into the trains ecosystem. There are quite a lot of Australian developers, but they all build for that, so you'd need to entice them out of their cocoon. 25 zone coming up, just as it gets steeper. Well designed, railway, well designed. Nice variety of loads. in the freight that just went past us. Yeah, there are a lot of good mod devs. Something else I'd like to see, I'd love to see some more American passenger, specifically New York subway, but one of the lines that's got a lot of overground and underground. And one of the ones that crosses bridges. So the 7, the A, the F, they'd all be the kind of lines that would get me interested. I have to be careful now because the gradient's dropping off and I've powered up. That big round building sets the date quite well because lots of those became available after World War II as surplus. As we wind our way through the hills. I wonder if these same carriages are running under Amtrak labelling these days, or if they got replaced. Says he's still speeding, but we'll just ignore that. It's hard to say, NJTE. I actually think the quality in this pack is mixed. I think some of it's really good, and some of it's not so good. The F3 is quite poor. The GP9 is nice, even though half the time the game labels it as a GP7. It is actually a GP9. The GP7s themselves are okay. The SD45s are okay. The U28, even though it's actually a U30, that's quite fun to drive. Everything works nicely. ATSF Colorado Division Dispatcher to Second 17, Lead Unit ATSF 353. I guess that's me. You'll be crossing over to the south track at Galenas in order to overtake train 307. Lead Unit ATSF 1303 between Galenas and Wooten. Crossover speed is 20 miles an hour. Dispatch out. Good-o. Better keep an eye out for that then, eh? And I probably shouldn't be doing 30 mile an hour. These locomotives are clearly way too powerful for this little train. Because if I'm running up a 2% grade in Notch 2, there's just too much horsepower per ton. But the train's not big. Interestingly, these same 3 trains, if you play Train 100, these same 3 locomotives haul this absolutely massive freight train, and I have to say they struggle a little bit with that one. NJT says that the original Superliners did get replaced. Amtrak's going through a new replacement program now, I believe. Yeah, in the 1960s, passengers had priority because don't forget that it was actually the freight company running the passengers. So where is this crossover? I can see a train up there. I don't know where the crossover is. It's made me paranoid now. That and the post-apocalyptic freeway that's slightly green. That worries me. There's nobody on the interstate. Where is everyone? Are we the only ones left on the planet? Yeah, I agree, NJT, but while it was still running, the railways did take a certain amount of pride in their passenger fleets. There's that crappy transition back to notch 3. Oh, there is people on the interstate, but they keep disappearing. There he goes. Dunk, gone. Where's this truck gonna go? It's gonna get kidnapped by aliens, watch. No? Yep, gone. Oh, the aliens are working hard today. If I was an engineer on this route, I would have to say I'd get slightly annoyed about its gradient. That transition to notch 1 was a little awful. Is this where our crossover is? There's a lot of signals. Slowing down, just in case it is. No, it's not. But I do have flashing yellows. There's a song about that, isn't there? Flashing yellow, flashing yellow. I better be careful doing that or I'll end up with a copyright notice. Because even if you sing it yourself really badly, it can still actually be triggered. I may have been a little too enthusiastic in slowing down there, I think. Just a little bit. Alright, have a nice dinner, Jonah. Enjoy yourself, mate. Thank you for stopping by. And thank you for the information, too. There's a screenshot for Chicago. It's going nice and close. Get another one. Do you want me to show you the kind of screenshots I get from him? He'll do this. And then he'll send me all of them. Revenge. I might have a look at the setup of these locomotives. I think the scripting between the different notches is probably a little strange. I think I might fix them. If you've never edited your...
Funny, it seems to have disappeared from the stream.
Yeah, he has disappeared again. He's probably fallen asleep. Oh, I don't know, NJTE. Makes him happy. But if you've never edited the configuration files for your locomotives in TSC, it's actually not that hard. Just grab yourself one of the many unzippers that understands pack files, which is pretty much anything except WinZip.
Oh.
There he is. He's not sleeping, apparently. Hang on. You need some more screenshots, Chicago. Let's send you a few more. Hang on. Let's get in nice and close. Couple more. I'll send all those to him later on Discord. Don't want to do it now because I don't want to waste the bandwidth. You are still here. How about that? How about a gratuitous horn? Honking at rocks. Oh, there's a good screenshot. Through the trees. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it till locomotives are completely skewered. There, perfect. Nice rock wall up there on the interstate. See, the 1960s when the driver could honk at rail fans and not get in trouble for it. Unlike today. He could also go a little bit too fast and not get in trouble for it. Unlike today. But I probably better start paying attention because I'm guessing as our crossover's coming up soon. So I shall let it start coming down. Oh, there's an idea, NJT. I like that idea. Could just start sending him thousands of pictures of cats, I suppose. I have no shortage. Let's rest this, slow down a little. Go up a notch. Because we should be changing tracks fairly soon. Because we have in our HUD there, North Track and South Track, which suggests we're swapping over. It's getting to be quite a bright day today. What about telegraph poles with no trains? Like this. See if I get this in just the right spot. Like about there. There we go. Perfect. We're coming into our crossover spot. Got a solid yellow there. Doing a good speed for the crossover. Just watch the big silver snake. Trains remind anybody else of snakes? Safe enough to power back up again now. Nice smooth trip through the crossover for our passengers.
Somewhat.
And some puffy black diesel smoke. As you do. We can now pick back up. Hello, Andreas. How are you? Greetings to Austria from Australia. The two often confused countries. And just for the record, kangaroos are in Australia, not Austria. We're doing a bit of a run with the U28, in brackets U30 honest, locomotives from High Iron. Running along Raton Pass, which is the first part of our stream today, pulling the El Capitan for Santa Fe. And JT's going into the subway. Oh, that's right, you live in a country that has no phone coverage inside the subway. We used to have that. It was really boring. Go down a tunnel and just have nothing. You think, oh. 2.7% is pretty steep. I do like the Santa Fe's colour scheme, but it must have been an expensive one, because silver paint is one of the few paints more expensive than black paint. Just going to let this speed keep drifting down because we have a 20 zone coming up. Andreas says on the Railworks Austria or RWA forum is a new freeware loco available, the OBB 1245, an old electric one. Oh, I'm definitely interested. I'll have to have a look at that. Thank you, Andreas. I am quite partial to the older electric locomotives. That reminds me, we haven't run the Sacramento Southern for such a long time on stream. I'll have to get that into the program at some point. Need to see it again. So much fun, that route. What's this sign? It's a sign facing the other way. It's all good. We are losing speed a bit too much again. We've gone up to 3.6 on the gradient now. That's actually pretty bloody steep. Maybe that's why we've got so much horsepower per tonne. Let's just see how notch 6 holds it. Yep, that's picking it back up again. I guess the thing I like, there's two things I like the most about the Sacramento Southern route, actually. One of them is that the interurban cars are kind of like trams, and I like trams. Trolleys for Americans. Everybody else calls them trams. But the other thing I like about it is that in a lot of areas, it actually follows the path of modern-day BART. And it's just kind of cool. Having had some involvement with BART. There's that train we're going to pass. It has its moments, Andreas. I think the scenarios are actually pretty good. But there are some issues. So this locomotive, for example, that's labelled as a U28, if you look at the front and you compare it to photos, it is quite clearly a U30. There's another screenshot for Chicago. It is quite clearly a U30, not a U28, but that's, you know... And it's been mixed too loud, so it sounds like it's driving in a pipe. Get that echoey sort of effect. But apart from that, it's a good locomotive. It runs nicely. The scenarios are good. The F3 Warbonnet really is quite poor. I'm not happy with that loco at all. The GP9s are nice. The GP7s are nice. They both drive, I think, relatively realistically. The SD45s seem okay. They're not amazing, but they're okay. So, is it a complete flop? No, I don't think so. Hopefully a patch will come out for it that fixes some of the sadder things with it. That looks like that train has stopped waiting for us, doesn't it? Oh no, it is still moving. It's working much harder than we are, and we're being naughty because we're just going way too fast. But it's actually why I thought I'd give it a run, is to show people what it actually is like so they can make their own call. Because when someone like me or someone else reviews it, you probably get, I don't know, 5-10 minutes of it. It's only really on a stream that you can put out a long run, because if you put out a 3-hour video with it's not a stream, you get about a 100th of 1% actually watch rate. things like this are cool in a scenario, passing another train. It's actually quite hard to do in Trade Simulator. It has to do scripting. If you want it to actually come off properly. And not be at the mercy of the dispatcher. There you go, our conductor down the back there can wave at the other people on the other loco there, because it's the 1960s. There were no DPUs, the helpers would have had crews. So to me it feels a little bit rushed. But if they fix it up, it'll be fine. Yeah, that's basically it, Andreas. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. Yep, that's probably a good way to put it. It's, you know, middle ground. And I think if you're a lover of Santa Fe, I think you'd probably find a way to love it. If you're not that interested in Santa Fe, then probably don't go near it. So we're going to run two things from it today. The other thing we're going to do is the Q Interchange, which is a nice little bit of switching that you have to be a bit careful with or you muck it up. And it's quite easy to muck it up and not be recoverable. Here we have some F7s coming up, which I think are the cigar band ones. Looks like they are. These look remarkably like the S-Class diesels that we had in Australia. They're almost identical. Let me find you an S-Class diesel so you know what I'm talking about, because only a Victorian would. This is a Victorian Railways S-Class diesel. Very similar to the cigar band F7. Oh, I'm meant to be passing this train, and I switched away for a moment and stopped watching it, and he started to pass me. So now we're going to go full fang on him. It's time for some NASCAR corners. Oh, hang on, they only go in one corner. Left, 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 left. We used to have NASCAR in Australia. We had NASCAR and Oscar. And Oscar used the same track, but they went right, 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 right. Just, you know, because they could. That's better. Back down to 6. There's a good screenshot. Whee! So why couldn't it do that in Notch 5 before? So you don't often see scenarios like this in the game where things pass each other, so it's cool. I appreciate it. I appreciate the effort that's gone into it. And Andreas, well, Santa Fe and BNSF is interesting to me due to the fact that the stuff wasn't available here for a long time because of the branding issues from DTG and Europe legalization. Yes, I do understand that. We didn't have it either. And interestingly, the impression I have is that was always a misunderstanding, is they wanted to license it And they didn't understand the wording, would be my bet, because they were basically told that they couldn't license it outside of America because they didn't own the branding outside of America. But no one else did either. So they could have run it all this time.
Either to Canada.
Yeah, which is weird. I would have thought Canada should get it, but no. There's a couple of gondolas sitting in the siding there. Just because they can. Probably pushed out for a hot box or something.
Yeah, because BNSF runs up into Vancouver, runs up into Toronto.
And here we are at Wooten. Or if it was a steam engine, it'd be Wooten. No, I'm not doing that again. It's embarrassing. The Colorado state line. Now gradient's coming right down. The back of our train's coming off the gradient now, so I'm just throttling back. And we're about to start going downhill. This is where we'll find out whether this locomotive's dynamic brakes work. Because we have reached the summit. And in 7 miles, we'll be doing a passenger stop. Let's just go into setup on the dynamics. Oh, the power needle does work, and you can feel the dynamics coming into effect. I'll just leave mid-setup for the moment. Andreas said I should probably build a US scenario soon. Most of his scenarios are Austrian-based, but it might be interesting to make one. Now, I make scenarios for lots of different routes. It's just fun. Sometimes I put them up on Workshop, sometimes not. Sometimes I just make them for me. And sometimes you make them and they're absolutely magic, but half the time they get out of memory or something like that, so you can't publish it. I think we might want to notch up the dynamics a little. We might also want to bring our train under control. Just saying. That's boring, the brake needle didn't move. The main race did, and the equaliser did, but the brake cylinder did not. Let's try that again. Well, the brake pipe's moving, but the brake cylinder's not. Brings lots of notches up, and let's get lots of brakes happening and bail off the locos. Otherwise the dynamics will cut out. That's better. Now they're finally having an effect. I've got the loco brakes bailed off. But there's a bug, because the brake cylinder needle didn't move then when I put the brakes on. Train 408, lead unit ATSF 1449 will be in the hole for you to overtake at Kyoto. Dispatcher out. Okay. And I come off the brakes now. Let's see if the dynamics can actually hold it. No, they can't. which kind of surprises me. Minimum reduction can't hold it either, which also surprises me. Without the brake needle working there, it's a little bit hard to tell how much braking I'm putting on at the moment. So, yep, we found a bug. But I am slowing down, so I'm happy. So the dynamics on this loco, I would suggest, not powerful enough, because with the horsepower per tonne we had coming up the hill, I wouldn't think we'd be struggling coming down the hill. There's a road that just ends at the track. That's weird. Yeah, the gradient is heavy, but it's 3 very powerful locos and a very light train. So I really wouldn't expect it to struggle at all with this gradient. I wouldn't expect to have to be applying brakes. So if it was pulling a giant freight train, yes. Andrea said he doesn't put them mostly on workshop, mostly on RWA due to third-party rolling stock, which is difficult on workshop. Yes, I can imagine it would be. But at the moment, you're a bit angry with the TS dispatcher. Yeah, we all get that. And Chicago's just departed Ogden Yard. Let's do another screenshot for Chicago while we're here, just so we can send them all to him later. Here we go. It's one thing I like about TSC that you can't do in TSW2, actually. TSW2 won't let you take screenshots inside the cab. Let's go some brakes again. Not enough. More. Let's see how that goes. More. Makes all the right noises, but I want the needle to move. I'm sad now. Here's the other train that we're passing. Who's going to jump on the radio as we go past and go, dispatcher, I just want to let you know the other guy seems to have run away. I think he's out of control. Interestingly, he's going downhill and puffing tons of black smoke, which, yeah, would not be happening. Dynamics don't make smoke. If the dynamics are making smoke, you're on fire, and you're probably a bad thing. Let's give that a while to charge up again. It's only a short train, so it should take only a short time to charge. So your initial reduction only drops 5 pounds out of the brake pipe. I would have thought 7, probably 14 in an American locomotive. Chicago has just departed Ogden Yard. And Andreas says, strange things happen in TS. Yes, they do. Ooh, like that, like the lights coming on mysteriously. No, cab lights aren't on, it's just bright all of a sudden. And that train next to us is stopping.
I would agree.
There's the other train stopping at the signal up there. Stopping close to the signal in only the way an AI train can. Hello, Smokebox. How are you? We're driving the Santa Fe pack way too fast. And being vaguely amused that even though I've got the brakes on, and most of the needles work, the locomotive one does not. It used to, doesn't now. Life. Glad to hear you're doing well, Smokebooks. Going to get down to that speed just in time, I think. It was working before. Yes, it is U28 CG. Although, as many have postulated, it's probably something else. But that's okay. I'm not game to release its dynamics, but I have a faint suspicion it doesn't work when the dynamics are running. Maybe it's just the loco's not allowed to brake itself when the dynamics is running, because that would actually make sense if it braked the train but not itself. That could make sense. I might look that up. I know there are some locomotives that when you're in dynamics, they won't actually apply the locomotive brake. This might be one of them. It might be right. No, if I apply it, it's okay. No, it's in release. What I'll do, now that it's definitely in release, let me release the train brake. I'll just give that a chance to... Actually, I won't bother giving it a chance to charge up, because it's not a real train. No, it still didn't move there. But I'll have to look this locomotive up. Because there definitely are locomotives that behave this way. But I can still see what's going on with the brake pipe needle, so I'm happy. Yeah, I think it probably is working right. The dynamics seem a little weak on this locomotive. Two miles to stopping at Raton Depot. I'm not sure how long that one goes after that. No, that's it. Just Raton Depot. And then we'll do a bit of switching with the, I think the SD9, GP9, sorry, GP9, yes, SD9, GP9, GP9 we'll be doing switching in. And then I'm going to reawaken an old route that once upon a time was payware, and that's the Pennsylvania steam route. Yeah, it depends on the locomotive. Some of them are pretty good at about 20 to 25 mile an hour for their best range. Newer locomotives tend to work almost right down to a crawl. So it's actually quite impressive the way they work these days, but everything's computer controlled. So. And yes, I know I should be releasing the brakes because I'm getting quite slow, but I don't want to, just at the moment. I'm going to let it get down to 15 and then I'm going to release them because it is still quite steep here. Oh, we haven't been running our competition.
Shall we play a game?
So, we're going to do this thing again. Let's get the first one going. Rightio. Anybody want to take a guess at this point?
No, not me.
Oh, well, we'll see how your guess goes, Chicago. Chicago's got he stopped for a signal and there's a clear signal for a westbound. He doesn't see anything other than a clear signal. Oh, well. It might just be broken. Or it might be a train coming you don't know about. Or the game dispatcher just doesn't like you. Any of the above are possible. I think the dynamics are much better at coping now that we're coming off the grade. They're having a little more effect. Still speeding up though, which surprises me because, I mean, it's not a big train. It's little. And there's 3 of them. Smokebox says the optimal speed for this loco is 25 mile an hour. Above and below that, the dynamic braking falls away quite rapidly. Yeah, it seems to just run straight through 25, so I suspect it's just not quite happy. I don't want to let it speed up too much though, because we're coming into Raton. There's another set of SD45s coming through. They sound quite nice, I have to admit. Imagine how loud it would be coming into a station stop under full dynamics. They would be screaming. Or your passengers would be holding their ears, crying babies. There you go. Theory proven. Look at the brake gauge. Did I get all my carriages in the platform? I think maybe yes. Look at that. Got to be happy with that. Hello, Brad. How are you? The big dynamic whine. And that, I think, is the end of this scenario. And then we'll go on and do a little bit of switching with the GP9s. The game says they're a GP7, but the locomotive itself says GP9. I tend to believe GP9 when you look at it. Or is it the other way around? It says it's a GP9 and it's actually a GP7. There. We'll look in a tick. Well done. The westbound El Capitan will continue its journey to Los Angeles, but this journey concludes here. I.e., get off. Successfully completed. You always like seeing that, don't you? Alright, now we are still on Raton Pass, and we're going to run 09, Q Interchange. That's right, it says they're, I think it says they're GP7s, but they're actually GP9s, one or the other. Anyway, it's all good. Let's see what they say on the outside. GP9, see? It says it's a GP9. You'll be pulling together and delivering an interchange cut. Cool. Alright. First move is Trinidad Freight House, which is behind us. Now let's do that first up. So there's our two carriages there. Cars. We are in America. And there's our locomotive. So it's all set for us. That's nice. Let's get in here and do some stuff. Front headlights, number lights, class lights. We don't need anything in the back. Gauge lights, just because we can. I'm turning that on because it's a bit of a dark cab. At least that way we can see what's going on. Good, this one only has running, it doesn't have release. It's a very long horn, so I won't honk it twice like you probably would. Because it's such a long one. That'll do for the moment. These locos are quite nice. These ones work quite well. They sound nice too. And they have a nice delay on notching up, which is quite cool. Let's jump back in the cab so I can see gauges. That's right, they brake very slowly. Very old trains. More brakes. More brakes. More brakes, or I'm going to whack these boxcars really hard. There we go. Happy now. And Smokebox blanked off the release to avoid problems. Very good call. Yeah, because even if you understand what's going on there, particularly with Raildriver, it's too easy to mess it up. Coupled. Pull ahead via Trinidad Yard Track 4 West. Pull ahead and stop at Trinidad Yard Track 4 East with the rear clearer to reverse into 5. Alright, let's just have a quick look. So we need to go up there, and we are right now back there. So that's fine. We're going to go up there. We're going to stop clear of these points so we can reverse back into here. Very good. So we need to go all the way up there. Back into forwards. Oh, thanks for answering that, Smokebox. Yes, Andreas, definitely there. Am I right in remembering, Smokebox, there's slugs for the GP series and the SD series, I think? Yeah, that'll be enough. It's going to stop a little bit later than it should, but it'll do the job because we're going to stop in the yellow bit. Alright, we're going to go back into this siding now. So we're going to a couple of the 3 loaded gondolas to the back yard siding 9. One thing to watch with this scenario is do what it tells you, because this doesn't necessarily give you quite enough information to actually succeed in the scenario. So you have to watch the pop-ups. While that's doing its thing, we can go back into reverse. Reverse to Trinidad 5 for a couple to 3 loaded gondolas. Back we go. Now, I don't want to pick up too much speed this time because they do have rather slow brakes. Andreas, if you flip back through my channel and have a look at the review and the intro video I did on it, it actually shows you all of the different locos you get in this pack, all lined up together. And all the different variants as well in each of the liveries. All lined up in one spot in the yard. Hello, Darko Rao. How are you? Welcome to the stream. We're doing a little bit of switching at the moment. The High Iron Santa Fe pack. And these locos, I think, are the best ones in the pack. I really like them. Yeah, I like them, Brad. Which is funny because if I'm on the footplate switching on our railway, I love it. But if I'm on the ground doing it, I kind of hate it. You stalling again, Chicago? You're not messing up the big boy again, are you? You've got the right guy in the chat to tell you how to drive it. Yeah, I do that too sometimes. Taco Rail too. I'll wake up or 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and just toss around for half an hour and then give up and just see if anybody's streaming. And of course, the only trouble with that... Oops, that was a bit of a quick release, wasn't it? Yeah, a bit too quick. The only trouble with that is you get interested and then you won't sleep at all. This is a good speed to take these on. It won't push them off the end of the siding. Is that to engage the scripted expert driver smoke box? And Andreas says that it's 2 AM here. It is a stream tomorrow noon, so short night incoming. Only if you keep watching. You're absolutely welcome to keep watching. Alright. So go to the Trinidad East Yard lead, proceed to and stop at the C&S North approach with the rear clear to then reverse via Trinidad East South lead. So that means I think we're going all the way across. So we're there, and we need to go to the C&S North approach, which is, I think, way over here. Yep, there it is. Which means we're going to need to look for signals when we come out of here. Oh, I didn't quite get the brakes off. That's why it didn't amp up then. Just let that settle down. Now we'll do it. Now it'll work. Oh, there we go. I thought I'd done something wrong, but no, it's all good. Brad says, after last week's stream, had to look at some YouTube tutorials on using Blender to make locomotives to TSCs. Very complex and time-consuming. Kudos to Smokebox. And Smokebox uses 3D Crafter. Cool. I think that's what the people that make our prototype stuff for 3D printing use 3D Crafter. That and SketchUp. Or it's not called SketchUp anymore, it's got a different name now. Now let's just race up there, because I want to know what these signals are doing. We have a yellow on the signal, which is good, which means we can go all the way through. Points are set. Yep, so we just go straight through on this one. That's fine. A couple of these are a little bit tricky, and you've got to be careful of the signals. And this one's okay. Yeah, the route is quite nice, Ducko Rail. It's an older one, but it's still quite a nice one. Just bear in mind that I am running RW Enhance. Makes it look nicer. It's not the new RW Enhance, so I had a go at that and didn't like it. And when I took it away, I had so many issues that I gave up and reinstalled Train Simulator after clearing absolutely everything, which is a bit sad. If you play this scenario, particularly when you're down in that part of the yard, is where you've got to really watch your points and signals. Otherwise, bad things happen. A little bit more, I think. Which is rather a lot of brakes, but that's okay. It's freight. No one's going to fall over. Smokebox says he's always used 3D Crafter. Too lazy to learn a new tool. Oh, I know that feeling. I think I would be too. And Darko Rail says he likes to watch people who stream Train Sim, just spend a little more time on Twitch, but likes to see what happened on YouTube. I have actually got a Twitch channel, but I don't use it very much. I used to dual stream to both, but Restream Free started to crack the sads at me, so I stopped. I haven't quite got the bandwidth to stream to two places at the same time outgoing. Reverse via Trinidad East South Yard lead to Trinidad Yard Track 9. Alright, let's just have a look. Where is that? Alright, so that's still on this side, so we're going to come back around. We're going to go in there. We want to go into that, so we need to set those points. And the rest are good. Done for us. Okay. Into reverse. Back in here so I can watch the brake gauge. All good. I actually don't mind the brake pop-up messages, to be honest. I find them quite useful. It lets me know if I haven't quite moved the handle enough, because sometimes the sound effects make it sound like you have, but you haven't really. Oh, there's lots of cool people on Twitch. I do watch quite a few Twitch streamers. I even support a few occasionally, but... yeah, there's a lot there. But I found, for me personally, better response and growth on YouTube, so I tend to be over here primarily. Yeah, I could get why some people might not like them, but I find them helpful, so it's kind of handy. Now we'll just let this keep losing speed by itself, because we haven't got very far to go to those gondolas, and we'll lose quite a bit of speed in the corners. NJT's back from the subway at a ride on the local R. I even know where that goes. How about that? Heavy grades are what that big locomotive is for, Chicago. Just use some engine brake to slow us down. It's not at all unusual when switching to only use your engine brake. But I have found that this one brakes quite slowly. So unless you give yourself plenty of room, you might need to use the train brake as well. But often when you're switching, they don't even hook up the brake pipes. Depends how far they're going. And in this particular place, you've got to be a little bit careful to not bang into the rolling stock too hard, because you'll push it right off the end of the siding. Been there, done that. It's a little bit embarrassing. It's been a while since I've been to Times Square.
Yep, I agree.
Coupled, proceed to CNS North Approach and stop with the rear clear to reverse to CNS Yard. So we're going back where we were, basically, I think. Pretty sure. Let's just show the task. We indeed are. Okay. Back in the cab. Brakes off. Forwards. Notch up. Are you failing again, Chicago? And Darko Rail says he's on TSW2 because now he doesn't have a PC for TSC. But that he likes TSC. You don't need much of a PC to run TSC. You can run it on quite a weak one as long as you stay at a resolution like 1080. We have a yellow signal up there, so we're all good to go. They're from Serbia. Very cool. I have got some branches of my family. There's Serbian and Slovenian in some parts of my family. Also Hungarian and a bit of Russian. My mum was First Fleet Aussie from England. Big variance. And just to round it out, I married a Greek. So there you go. And NJTE, yes, Times Square is definitely a tourist trap, but there are some very nice jazz bars around Times Square, around the back streets there. You, I wouldn't carry too much cash or your credit cards when you're in those back streets, but there are some very cool jazz bars there. They're very nice in colder times because they do soup at the jazz bars. And NJT lives in New Jersey, right across the river from New York City. It's a pretty big river. You can see the other city, but... I have explored a little bit of New Jersey, not a lot. Andreas says it depends on the community. Here the German and Austrian streamers are on YouTube. To see international content and train sim, Twitch might be better. But on YouTube I can stream at 440. Yeah, I'm streaming in 2K. Which is why I don't have the bandwidth to stream to 2 at once. Cool. Thanks, Darko Rao. I'll have a look at your channel when I finish up the stream too. Well, sometimes you will just get mad in life, Chicago. It just happens, really. Let's stick with 30 this time, because... Oops. Whoop, don't release. Ah! Oh, no. I want to stop. Actually, it's going to stop. That's fine. No, it's all good. It knew what I wanted. Here we go. And while we're waiting, we can pop into reverse, but I have learnt not to release the brakes at this point. Because we are now going to go to Trinidad Yard Track 2, which is down here. We're going to drop off the consist that we've got. So, Track 2. Which means... Which one is Track 2? Through Track 2 is that one. So that point is set, that point is set, that one is set, and the diamond will be set for us, which will be fine. So that's all good. And I think from memory, we have to go all the way. We have to go to Trinidad Yard Track 2. I think last time I went in here, I ended up having to go all the way down here just to meet the zero counter. But that's okay. We're all set, ready to go. So let's just go back here. Brakes off. Yeah, I tried streaming in 4K. It didn't work that well, to be honest. And I would end up dropping frames. So even at 2K, I dropped the occasional ones. I've dropped a few on this one, 373 frames, but mostly it's okay. And Darko streams on Twitch. That's okay, I'll find you on Twitch. Because I do watch Twitch streams as well. The current version of OBS is capable of streaming to 2 different destinations at the same streaming rate. And Twitch doesn't like 2K. So I believe in the next version of OBS, this is OBS Studios by the way, not Slobs. The next version is going to allow you to stream at different rates to 2 services. So if that works okay, I might go back to dual streaming, because I'll be able to do it without restream. Because if I stream to Twitch at 1080 or even 720, I'll have more than enough bandwidth to do that. What'll be the big question is how much of my GPU will it eat to create 2 different video streams? Because in TSC it doesn't really matter. I could eat 80% of the GPU and TSC would never notice it, but in TSW and some of the other games I play, it certainly would. You'd really feel it. Actually, I should ask Smokebox, what do you think Tuesday's big announcement's going to be? I think we might just put on a little bit of brakes here. Just a little bit. About that. Just to start slowing us down a bit. Because we do have to go a fair way. We have to go almost right down to that level crossing down there. Which to me is a bit strange. I don't think you'd put a set so close to a level crossing, because you'll just trigger it and it'll run and run and run, but it's okay. Let's see if it'll let us put it here. If it doesn't, I'll just push it further. Yes, you're in the same boat I am as an ambassador, Smokebox. You might learn the occasional thing, but most of the time you're a mushroom. No, it looks like we'll actually get away with doing it here. That's good. Uncoupled. Our interchange pickup is on 2 tracks. First pull forward and stop at C&F North lead with the rear clear to reverse to Trinidad track 4 north. You'll need to call for the signal during our movements. Now I think on this one I also have to actually set because I think North lead's actually this track. So I'm just going to set those points, because I have a faint suspicion if I don't, I'll mess it up. Alright. Now, I just got to keep an eye on this in case they don't release. They have. And I don't want to go too hard, because I will have to ask for the signal. I am hoping the day will come, Smokebox, when they open up to more builders on TSW. That would be really cool. And NJTE's going for Trenzim Mundo Tres. We shall see. And I'm not going to try and pronounce Smokeboxes. That's gotten a little advanced for me. And Darko Rail's having a good giggle at NJTE. And NJTE thinks it's possible. I'm not sure if I'm close enough to ask for the signal yet, but let's see. Denied. If I do it from here. No, I can't yet. Can I do it now? Denied. Which makes me wonder if I haven't set those points the wrong way. Denied. Yeah. Denied. I'm going to try it one more time, then I'm going to flip those points back the other way, and I'm going to try it again. Alright, well, let's flip the points back the other way. Denied. Let's get a bit closer to the signal. Yeah, and there's quite a few third-party devs, but yeah. I understand the challenges of it, because I can't tell you anything about it, obviously, but am in beta. Denied. I want to come out. Let me out. And NJC says, has a Colombian family, so can speak Spanish and English is my main language. Yeah, fair enough. Very cool. I don't like this signal. Do I have to get closer to it or what? Denied. Yay! Just fiddle with it enough, it works.
Go.
I'm not sure it's totally the dispatcher. There's probably some lure in the scenario that is just being a little bit finicky. That's okay. This task was unsuccessful. It was too early to set these points. That's okay. That's okay. We'll still finish the scenario. It's all good. Because what are we going to do next? We're going to go to the 5 Airslide hoppers, which will be these 5 here, I think. At the back of CNS Yard at Track 4 North. Good-o. You going to stop, little train? I'd like you to. Alright, let's set up while he's stopping. I assume he is stopping. Where are we? We're over there. Right. Good-o. And we want to go to... show the task. Yeah, so it's definitely them. Track 3. Track 4. Yeah, so it's those hoppers there. It's the ones we were looking at. So that one is actually set right, I think. It's this one that I want to change. Yep, that looks good. Back we go. I think I probably had to set those points at some other point in time, but I did it now instead of then. That's okay. Good night, Andreas. Sleep well. And NJT says he's not on Instagram yet. Yeah, I'd kind of stay away from Instagram. I have bailed on all Facebook products. Quite proud that I've managed to get them out of my life. I have none of them anymore. It's quite cool. I have left my profiles there because I don't want anybody pretending to be me. Because in my other life, I help out with Googly Maps. And I don't want anybody pretending to be me buggering that up. I have to say, this engineer is very patient. I'm guessing both of you, NJT and Chicago, have not set your birth date correctly on your Google accounts, because YouTube analytics tell me I have zero viewers under the age of 15. I read your comments. I just didn't say anything. We're almost ready to bonk into our hoppers. And then we're going to get some more carriages. And I'm trying to think why I thought I had to change those points. Clonk. Pull forward to stop at CNS North lead with the rear clear to reverse into track 3 south. Now that's probably why. So we're going to go up here into North lead. So I set the points too early. That's why I failed the other one. I should have set it for this one, not that one. That's fine. And our signals are horrible. That's okay. Just let it get moving forwards long enough so the game knows it's moving. Please, can I have a signal? No. Let's do it this way. Yay! It's funny how sometimes the keys don't work, but the doing it through the HUD does. Is that going to be enough? Don't think so. Not quite. Ooh, maybe. It's got to clear these points, I think. That should be enough. You can stop now. Honest. Alright, where are we going now? We're going to the 11-car consist at C&S Track Yard 3, which is that one, I think. 3 south? 3 north, rather? North, south, one or the other. So we want that one and that one. I think puts us on the right track. Looks like it. Alright, back we go. When the little red bar stops. We're almost done with the switching and we'll be getting into some steam shortly. I think we're almost done anyway. Yeah, not much to go now. Don't want to build up too much steam here. And NJT says this is his dad's account. He's going to transfer to his email when he's 15. Fair enough. I think you can do that with YouTube, but you cannot do that with a lot of the products, so be careful. Maps, for example, if you contribute on Maps, you cannot move it to another account. NJT says he's smart for a 12-year-old. There you go. I used to be fairly heavily involved in a youth leadership movement. I know how smart kids are. The difference is not intelligence between kids and adults. The difference is experience. Kids can do absolutely amazing things when you give them the experience to handle the challenges that they will get. I used to run camps for 300 people, for example. And while we had the adults there for insurance and emergency purposes, the kids ran the camps. And NJTE wants to pursue a career in transit. Definitely do that. Just don't tell them you play train simulators at the job interview. Coupled, we're now ready to run to the Santa Fe yard. Proceed ahead and stop at C&S North Approach with the rear clear to reverse onto the AT&S trackage. Alright, let's just have a look at the map and make sure I don't mess this up. Alright, so we're going over the other side. So I've got to set those points again. These ones. Back over to that, and the others will be taken care of for us. And Darko asks what I think about American routes on TSW. I think each one of them has been better than the previous ones. I really like Boston. I reckon that one's really good. It's got a couple of issues still that I would love to see fixed. Ooh, that was lucky. Almost forgot to do that. That would have been a quick end of the scenario. Clinchfield, I think, is my favourite scenically. I really like the South Fork branch on Horseshoe Curve, but I find the rest of that route's a little bit mundane because there's just not that much to do. It's not a hard route to drive. Whereas Clinchfield's up and down like crazy, so it's kind of nice. Cane Creek's boring as. Peninsula Corridor is okay. I will sometimes play it for hours. I never play it for days. Whereas Boston feels much more fast-paced than Peninsula Corridor, so I like it. That said, I'd love to see Peninsula Corridor electrified to bring it up to date. I reckon that would be really cool. And yes, Chicago, I know you hate electric trains. Don't bother saying it. And congratulations for being on top of your classes, NJT. That's really good. And NJT originally wanted to go to space, then realised that to do everything correctly and pay cars correct, there's a chance that it would never go. Pay your cards, yes. We're going to go over into this yard now, so we have to go a little bit further than we did before. We actually have to go through that level crossing. Brad likes Boston too and has come to like LIRR. I keep forgetting about LIRR. Now I know from bitter experience that you want to pass this signal. Don't try and shortcut it. No, we should be able to brake there. Bit more maybe. There we go. Now I think this sets most of the points for us, so I'm just going to... I think the LIRR in TSW... I prefer LIRR on TSC, to be honest with you, because its signalling is really, really, really good. It's as good as LIRR on TSW should be. But you know, I like it more on TSC. I like the Harlem line. Trainmaster instructor spot and uncouple from this cut of cars in Trinidad Yard Track 4 East. Let's just check our points and make sure they're actually set for that. Looks like they've been relatively nice to us. Let's just set those in case we overrun. We don't want to go back into that siding. That one's set and the rest's all done for us. Okay. Now I just need to get the train moving so that I can actually get the signal. Approved. I have found in TSC that if you're not applying any power, you don't necessarily have to move, but if you're not applying some power in the direction you want to go, it would help if I released the brakes. It doesn't necessarily pick up the right directionality for the signals. I think I confused its scripting. Let's let it calm down. It's because I powered up with the brakes on. And let's do it again. This time for sure, Ollie. Still no amps. Let's just jump in the cab and see what's going on. They're all released. Let's try again. There we go. That looks promising. Much better. And just going through the comments. There's been quite a few. And NGATE has the support of his family in the decisions. Yep. How well do you handle trauma in JTE? It might be a little early in your life to answer that question, but you will encounter trauma in transit, particularly if you're a driver or an operator or an engineer or whatever you call it on the railroad you end up going to. Because sooner or later, you will have a significant traumatic experience. It will happen. It happens to everyone who drives trains. So you should have a think about how you would react to that in your life. Some people just cope fine and go, well, I know it wasn't my fault because I'm driving a big heavy thing and I could not stop. It was completely out of my control, and they're happy and they just get on with their lives. And other people, it destroys them. Because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I'm glad you're enjoying the big box, the big boy Chicago. It is a cool locomotive. I keep thinking I should get it just so I can join it up with the Challenger so we can run double headers, because that'd be fun. See how long I can make the train before they can't pull it. And Darko, yeah, I do like switching as an operator. I think it's fun. I actually like switching puzzles. I built a Lego railway, which is all about switching puzzles. I replicate the most famous switching puzzles and try and beat them. And then I get other people to come and try and beat them as well. But at the moment, the railway's pulled apart because I'm working on my exhibition piece for next summer, and I needed the space, so the railway had to go. I'm building an amusement park for next year's Brickvention in Melbourne. Reminds me, I better tell them I'm doing that. I haven't yet. Better get my entry in. I think we've only got till the end of this month to get our entries in. And I think we're almost done with this scenario, and we'll get into some steam with some good movement. This is none of those ones where you're backing right up to a level crossing, and it's clearly it's made the level crossing run, but you're going to just leave the carriages sitting there. So you want to hope it's a predictor-driven crossing. And just in case we run through, let's give them a warning. How am I going to transfer that? Very carefully. Let's put a little bit of real brakes on. That should do, I think. And that should put us in a fairly good spot for this. Won't be right on the 0, but I think it will do. Alright, let's uncouple that. You know what we haven't done for ages? A screenshot for Chicago. Hang on, I've uncoupled now. I better do another one. Make a switching mood to Trinidad Yard 3 East. Okay. Way! Wrong way! Wrong way! Wrong way! Numpnuts. Yeah, they're going to join up again. And they have. Operational error, minus 1,000 points. Ah! It's a good thing I don't care about points. Thank you for the support, Michael. Now, where are we going? We're going there. Yard lead. Are we going all the way across? No, stop at Trinidad Yard 3 East. Yes, I know I'm creeping towards signals. It's okay. I wonder if I'll actually fit.
As always.
Do I have to have this signal green, or will I fit? Might actually fit. I might not need this signal to be green. Let's see how we go with this. We can go through it anyway. It's all good. New high score, says NJTE. 0. Actually, it's minus 1,000 because I've got scoring turned off. At least I think I've got scoring turned off. Maybe not since I reinstalled it. After a certain tool broke it. Doink. That should be enough to take us back into the other yard. Yep. You can stop now. Honest. Very good. Alright, good night, Darko. Thank you for watching. Sleep well. And Chicago says the big boys are as large as a Boeing 747 and a great white shark. I'm tipping a great white shark's not quite that big. Just say it. And NJT almost had a near-death experience by choking on water of all things. Yep, that does happen. Every now and again we forget how to drink. Humans are very clever with things like that. Ah, yes, the route guessing stream. We should have a quick look at that while these are
Shall
running.
we play a game?
So the first thing you're guessing is the locomotive. And I need the route and the DLC are the three things that can get you the maximum possible points. Yep, that's fine. You can expire that all you want, because I don't need it anymore. Because we are almost done. No, it's not the Challenger. Ah, NJTE, well done. Just ahead of Michael Newbury, it is the BR101. Now, the BR101, which is a diesel multiple unit running in England, hence the BR, is actually on quite a lot of routes. But there's enough clues in the image to tell you which one it is. Ah, look at that. NJTE's got the points. GWE, Diesel Legends. You didn't even see the rest of it.
Shall we play a game?
How did you pick up Diesel Legends? Oh, I suppose the fence. It's a modern fence and you've got the yellow on the platform. Yeah, that would be enough. Yep. Well done. Well done indeed. The thing that I thought would be the sure giveaway is the electric stanchion here and the LED signals, because that sets it apart from all the other routes that the 101 turns up on. All good. Nicely done. So I'd better write that down, hadn't I? So NJTE, and you got that on the fourth clue, so that's 60 plus 10 plus 10. 80 points, which I'm pretty sure actually puts you on top of the leaderboard. And we need to go a little bit further. Notch 8, here we go. That'll do. Brakes on. And NJTE could tell from the platform. Yeah, the yellow line was a bit of a giveaway, wasn't it? Nice work, NJTE. You will all find out what this leaderboard's for one day. I have a grand plan. Be warned that some of my grand plans turn to poo. Just saying. We had enough of watching these locomotives yet? I know for sure that you can't just stop early on this one, though. You got to go right to the 0-0 or it won't let you finish the scenario. Not that that's a huge disaster. You can just quit out and walk away. You almost had him, Michael. You were so close. You should have just yelled it out. Oh, that'd definitely be a shout out.
Yeah, but there's the 20-second delay, which would have screwed me over anyways.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I can fix the 20-second delay for you, but you'd have to watch on Meet and not on YouTube, which would be a very low-resolution experience. You have any idea how many viewers I've lost just trying to finish this shunting scenario? It's dropped rather a lot. That's okay. It's dropped from the 20s down to 7.
And given how I've seen how they don't like it at DTG.
There we go, and this will be the end of the scenario. Finally! Why don't you get on? Because you're a baby. Sorry, talking to people under the age of 18 over the internet is just a really bad thing to do. Yes, I know it wasn't entirely successful, but that's okay, because I know why. Alrighty, let's go into Pennsylvania Steam. Now, you can get this route if you want it. It's on RWA, actually. You can download it. There are rather a lot of assets to make it work. I have most of them, so it does actually work for me at least. All right, let's jump in here. Actually, I'm going to change the order because we've done a lot of switching, so we're going to change the order. Let's do the Passenger Excursion Part 1, or Employee Excursions Part 1. I think, yeah, we'll go with that for weather. Why not? And JT says, Chicago, you automatically guessed at an American locomotive for a British DMU. It is why I thought you two were siblings. You just poke at each other all the time. Oh, look at that. There's a nice ad for Smokebox's machine. Built into the game. Very good. They probably should have straightened out the wires in that screenshot. Yes, I know you can't do that. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Greenville Shops, depart 014 GV main NB to Greenville Station. Lots of times. Good-o. Suppose I should keep them, shouldn't I? We'll remember, won't we? No, we can't go that way. Sun is just company up. The company employees should be waiting at the station. Weather doesn't look too promising. The paper says it'll clear up. We're clear to reverse out onto the main. Do you know, I never believe the game when it says things like that. Where are we? We're up there. And we really are clear to reverse out onto the main. Look at that. Okay. This is an older steam locomotive. And you have to give it just a little bit of punishment. Yep, train orders. Screenshot, you reckon? Here we go. We've been sitting here for a while, so I'll leave the cocks open for a bit. No, you can present train orders because you can present images as part of your scenario setup in TSC quite easily. What's the purpose of a big 5-chime steam whistle? Making sure everyone in the town is awake. Now, this is the train people had to guess last week. Actually, no, this is the other one. I'll show you the one you had to guess last week. We'll see that shortly. That lost speed quickly. No, the train orders are just images, so you make the image look like whatever you want, and you add it to your scenario, and you just tell the game to display it. There's the one we were guessing last week. And you're over the spot where you nearly stalled. That's good. NJT says, tomorrow a new Colombian president comes into office. He promises to be better. Oh well, I'm sure they always do. Every politician thinks they'll be better. The sad thing about politicians is they're usually only in it for themselves. Whoop. Gratuitous spread shot. That's not too bad a looking river. How many screenshots should we do for Chicago here? I know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That'll do. Oh. One more with the loco on there. Yeah, almost at our stopping point. To go just past that signal up there. That's a nice screenshot. Nice looking into the dawn. That'll do. You can stop there, train. Let's get our Johnson forwards. Now ooh, have I got the fireman turned on? Guess we'll find out soon. Set the switch ahead and we should get a green. Gonk. I have a faint suspicion I don't have the automatic fireman turned on because I turned it off for the Challenger and I don't think I've turned it back on. We may not get very far. We'll soon know. Hello, Ebooty. I guess that's how I say your name. Welcome to the stream. We're driving on the Pennsylvania Steam route, which used to be a payware one, but you can now get for free from Railworks of America. And I was just thinking to myself whether I have the automatic fireman turned on in the game, and I don't know that I do. Actually, I must do, because I can't push the buttons to fire. So I must do. I guess we're okay. Another gratuitous screenshot for Mr. Chicago. What have we got? Yes, NJT Lee lives in the US. Yeah, I think we know that. You live in New Jersey. That's why you're called New Jersey Transit. We've got a longer than usual train, so pull the engine past the station and try to put the middle of the train in the platform. Fair enough. Let's drive it like we hate it a little bit. And Chicago says, by the way, engineers use the whistles and horns when they're approaching tunnels. Yeah, sometimes. I like the way the wind's blowing the smoke away from me, and as I speed up, it's coming back towards me. It's quite cool. There's lots of movement in this scenario. NJT says that he doesn't know why it's common for when YouTubers with millions of subscribers can easily groom someone. It's because they're bad people. It's that simple. They are just terrible, terrible people. This is the train I think is the one we'll be driving in the scenario after this, which is the work train. It's got a cool little crane in it. Let's just stop here and have a look at the crane, shall we? Why not? Do we need a screenshot of a crane for Chicago? Of course we do. We're approaching Greenville Station now. I think we all know lots of idiots. Wait till you get into the workforce. But you can't tell people what you think of them in the workforce. They get sad and upset and whine about you. I'm tipping I must have the automatic fireman turned on, simply for the reason that the safety valve's going off. Why do you watch Mr. Beast if he annoys you? Look at all the employees up there waiting for us. Let's go join them. Watch the train come in. There's no signals to worry about. And one up there's already green. Let's just come in here. This bloke's got his newspaper. What happened to you? You're sunk into the ground there, mate. Greenville.
They all appear to be sunk into the ground.
Yeah, pretty much. That kid's standing on top of the platform. And what's bizarre is they all turn to face you. Here we go, let's steam them all. It's interesting that some of them move around. When I opened up its cylinder cocks, it almost died. It's one of those steam locos. You want to have the middle of the train in the platform, apparently. A little bit more. That'll do. Apply the brakes. Okay, load them up. Get in the train, people. What are you waiting for? Come on, get in. Oh yeah, most of you can't move. Most of you are just scenery. Yep, serial killer. Ooh. Man in a hat. Alright, let's get this set up. Orders have us make a flag stop at Osgood to pick up a few of the country folks and be non-stop to the park. Very good. This is a very much drive it like you hate it steam engine. Brakes are coming off. That's a tight squeeze. Let's make sure everybody in these apartments is awake. And hope these points are set correctly, because I haven't looked. And away we go. Like most older steam routes, they don't sound that good when they're picking up speed. Better watch my speed or we'll come off. That's a big squeal. Ah, what else have we got? Dreams wouldn't be called dreams if they were achievable. Well, they can be. And Chicago said he'd never say idiots in a workplace. Bet you do. And you call the guy cleaning the ocean, planting trees, giving food, giving money. You know, I'd suggest NJT, he's not as cool as he makes out, because he's doing that to make an enormous amount of money. A true philanthropist doesn't... You know, a true philanthropist doesn't talk about what they're doing and tell you about what they're doing. They just do it. I don't think this one likes being in the 30s, does it? More power. Yeah, I think this one likes being in the 40s on the cutoff. Or the reverser, or the Johnson bar, depending on what you want to call it. Time to power up a bit. That's a good screenshot for Chicago. Just a tree. As we follow the river. It's quite a nice route, this one. Bit of rain for the company picnic. It's interesting how much of an effect opening the cylinder cocks has on the speed. Watch. It just starts dropping off straight away. We're going to accelerate or not? Got to find the sweet spot for the reverser so it'll accelerate. It's certainly not there. Don't think it's there either. Let's try the 20s. Oops. No, it's not in the 20s. Where does it want to sit? That looked like lightning. Where does it want to sit? 45? 50? There we go. Now it's starting to accelerate, so it wants to sit near 50. That's pretty extreme. You always wonder about the people that build their house right next to a railway crossing. I mean, sure, it's convenient. You can flag the train down, but... yeah, whistles, horns. I think my tea's almost all gone. Has been a while, so that doesn't surprise me. I just realised my head position puts me directly under my logo. That's funny. Well, if you're standing in the creek, as he who said a very long time ago, what happened, little Jim? He fell in the water. And if you know where that comes from, good. If you don't, oh well. In your last sentence, NJTE, you used the correct version of your. The other one is short for you are. Yeah, we are fast approaching our flag stop. Just let them know we're coming. It's almost like the train's got the brakes on, you know? I'm working crazy hard just to keep this moving. What is my steam pressure? .130 psi, so it should be fine. And I know the fireman's working. Oh well. This will be our flag stop here, I'm assuming. Cool old trucks. Why did that sound like an aeroplane? How weird. Yeah, it could be Smokebox. I'm just giving it too much. But interestingly, it wasn't actually spinning. Eh. It certainly didn't like being in the 30s on the cutoff, that's for sure. Orders have us number 1 to Meadville Branch, but checked the signal ahead at the bypass junction. No signal in sight. It's an older scripting, this one, so it's a little weird how it behaves. You're right, Smokebox. The Goon Show. And if you don't know what the Goon Show is, I'm very sad for you. Doesn't say wheel slip now. Come on, bit more. You can go now. What do my brake gauges say? 0. Main res, it's equalizing. Brake pipes at 90. Brake cylinder is at 0, so yeah, I would... Yeah, they're all... It's trying to move. Just doesn't want to. There we go. Bit more. And once again, it sounds like an aeroplane taking off, but that's okay. Yeah, the physics in the older locomotives is a little bit weird. There you go, that's something to be proud of, Smokebox. You made real wheel slip. Excellent. We'll just leave it there, picking up speed. NJT likes lines where you have to hand over something to get line clearance. That's usually called a staff or a token. Of course, you want to read it, you have to do that. Yeah, it looks happy enough. See, it's decelerating again. Crazy train. But no wheel slip. And it's barely going uphill. Let's just give it everything. And it doesn't want to come out of the 50s on the reverser, which is quite interesting. Yep, that's right, NJTE. They give you a staff or a token. And you handle it to the signaller at the next box. That's what we use on the railway that I work on. Everybody else can read your comment about the stations, NJTE. So apologies for the very slow acceleration. I really don't know why it's doing that. It's got plenty of power, and the brakes are definitely not on, but yeah, whatever. And if I bring it out of the 50s, it started slowing down. Let's see if I can bring it out now. Let's just bring it a little bit out. Let's try 40. That'll do. Yeah, it's still accelerating there. We'll leave it there for a little while, maybe come back a little bit more. It's also used on dual track lines so that you can set up following trains. So you can send multiple trains through an area. And then it's called staff and ticket. The first train has a ticket that represents the staff and it's allowed to go through. And when the first train reaches the next station, signal box or checkpoint, whatever it might be, a message goes back. In our railway, it's called an acre, A-C-R-E. And then you can send the next one into the section. because you know the other one safely got through. I just remembered I had a glass of orange juice sitting here. You just saw a picture of someone with 2 ankle monitors. Well, maybe they're worried about cutting one of their legs off. Steam usage rate is now going through the roof. Fire mass is going up, so the steam is... Fireman's definitely there. Yeah, doesn't like being in the 30s. That's for sure. It should be going a lot quicker than this, I think. Really do. That's okay. And to be honest, if it's going to run this slowly, we might just go and do the other train, because this is going to take a long time to go 8 miles. A very, very long time. Yep, I think we're going to go do that, because this is silly. It'll take hours to finish that one. Alright, still in Pennsylvania Steam, but we're going to do this, the Shinago work train. That looks like a kind of familiar locomotive down there. And yep, I know you can't do that, it's all good. Shinago Yard, proceed to Keister's Gravel with a service crane set. Attempt to re-rail the gravel hopper reported to have the front truck off the rails. It's obviously troublesome. You are cleared from immediate departure via KY Junction. Proceed as Shinago Interchange signal tower indicates. Very good. Coasters need the crane. Reverse and couple the crane set to the rear of our caboose. Okay. We've got the little engine now. What have we got? An 060. That must waddle like a duck. Becomes something much faster. Nearly there. Clonk. Great Interchange clears. Alright. Center player. And the switches are all set for us. Even that one that train just went through was in fact set for us. Mm-hmm. This one's only got a little tiny train, so let's see how it goes. Now, my question is that signal for us or for someone else? I guess we'll find out soon. I'm going a little bit quick, but that's okay. That was for us. And we're going this way, apparently. This little steam engine's powered by a rocket. Wah! Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Let's not do that again. Didn't happen. Did not happen. If you don't know what I'm doing there, by the way, when you get that error message, when you get that coming into a scenario, it means that you don't have something at once. You can just press F2 and then cancel, and it'll be fine. You don't want to go full fang yet, because that signal will not be clear yet. It's getting there, though. We should see that signal up in front of us clear any moment now. Any moment now. There we go. It's really hard to see those signals against the sky, isn't it? But they are all flat. Actually, those ones aren't facing me. It's that one around the corner that's facing me. Are we actually going the right way? Yep, we are. I'll just have to wait for that signal to come off. Let's let the signal box know we're waiting. Did our crane actually come with us? It did. Good. Denied. Ah, here's the other train that we're waiting for. Won't need that much reverser. Come on, Mr. Signal Person. Let us through. There we go. Get moving before something else comes. We have the loudest rolling stock in the world following us. Interesting to see if the crane's animated. Gratuitous bridge shot. This little locomotive's behaving much better than the other one. It's doing what I'd expect it to do. Although it looks like the fireman's left the steam line onto the injector without the water. Yeah, good night, Smokebox. Thank you very much for joining in and watching. Appreciate your company as always. Sleep well. Hello, David Park. One out, one in. How are you? We're driving on the Pennsylvania Steam, and we're doing a scenario called the Shinago work train. We're off to rescue a derailed truck. And we're going via KY Junction, which must be a very slippery place. Right now I'm driving a little 060. Let's go have a look. For Bessemer steel. An S3A. There you go. Number 237. And this is an older route called Pennsylvania Steam, which used to be payware, but is now available for free from Railworks America. Let me see if I can find you a link to it. Ooh, a wigwag. I like wigwag signals. Got one on our railway. This is the route. So this is a write-up about the route. Let me find you the actual link to the route itself. File library. Routes. Just trying to find it. Hopefully I'm not going to run over anyone. There it is. That's a link, direct link to the route on RWA. If you don't know about RWA, it's a very good resource. There's lots of stuff there. No, you don't like being there. I just read your comment, David. Good on you. Yeah, nurses have to like giving pain or they go mad. We're coming up to the very slippery place. I know enough Spanish to read half of that one, NJT. Got the good night bit. No one's noticed the very slippery place joke, so I have to wonder if this is a brand that's only Australia. No, it's available in America. Do I use AP packs? No, because I hate ransomware. That's basically what that guy builds. You'll have perfectly working stuff, and then you get something else, and your perfectly working stuff doesn't work anymore. Whoops, missed a crossing. Wow, it's naughty. And signals yellow. So I guess means we're changing tracks, so I'll slow down a little bit. No, looks like maybe we're going straight anyway. We are. More power. So we've come out of a slippery KY and now we're going to Keister. Bonus. And there's 3 trains. That's cool. No, I don't use any AP packs. RW Enhanced does some things with weather. But no, I normally just leave it alone. Now, this will be the screenshot. Just got to get the timing right. Right about now. Sounds like that train had the kettle on. Oh, there's lots of routes I'd like to see in TSW. I talked about that earlier in the stream. Something Australian would be cool. New York subway would be really good. Definitely need some more American passenger. Some fast-paced ones, not some really long do nothing but drive runs.
Or Canadian would be nice.
Well, I'm sure you'd like some Canadian, sure. that nice run through the Rocky Mountains would be pretty good. The Rocky Mountaineer. That would be nice. It would be pretty good. I'd like to see the Durango and Silverton. That would be good. I mean, we've almost got that with Clear Creek.
Yeah.
I'd like to have enough route to put together down the West Coast path so that you could run the Coast Daylight and the Coast Starlight. They'd both be quite good. From Seattle down to Los Angeles would be fun. Particularly at Oakland Square in Oakland. It was kind of funny, the first time I rode the Coast Starlight... Actually, it's not called Oakland Square. What is it called? Can't remember. But the first time I rode the car Starlight, I woke up in Oakland and thought, wow, this is a shithole. And about 10 years later, ended up living there. Jack London Square, that's it. And I have to say, one of the best American barbecue restaurants is in Jack London Square. It's still there. It's survived the last 25 years or so. Double header. Sorry, passengers, none for you. That's a little dark for a fire, for an engine working this heavily. It should be so bright you can't tell at all. Sounds like there's someone shoveling, but there's no one here. But that's okay. Why does he have so many... Why does the fireman have so many controls, given it's a coal-fired loco? Can't even close his firebox. Won't let me. I guess he's got it open because he's blowing off. In Australia, it is 11:25 AM on Sunday morning. And so far, it's been okay. But I have to go to my mum's and pick up a whole lot of her crap and bring it here this afternoon, so that will be most unexciting. At least it's sunny weather, so her crap won't get rained on. Four miles to Keisters southbound. It is quite a big route, this one. It's quite impressive for something that you basically get for nothing. It does take a little bit of effort to make it work, and you have to find a few bits and pieces to download and install. And you have to install them the old-fashioned way with utility.exe. So make sure you back stuff up, and make sure you set a Windows checkpoint. Because if you don't, you might be really sad. Oh, that's red. Ah. Booker. I should have been paying attention, not taking screenshots. Oh well. Well, it's 11:30 anyway, so that's probably enough for today. Apologies not getting to the end of that scenario. I will finish that, and I'll make a video of the end of it so you get to see it. Oh well. Michael says it's 6:30 p.m. on the west coast of Canada, and David says I had work this morning for 5 hours and had to go to church for 3 hours since he's leaving for a week-long thing tomorrow, and today was the final send-off. Well, there you go. That's cool. Anyway, apologies for the red signal. Crap. Anyway, that'll do for this week. So enjoy yourselves. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, comments and feedback, absolutely welcome. So have fun, folks. We had 235 people watching behind the stream. That's just weird. That's okay. Anyway, enjoy. See ya. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I always like to get your feedback in the form of likes and comments because they help me understand what you want. Give the channel a subscribe and click on the tinkly things so you don't miss out on any new stuff. And thanks for your ongoing support. And please, be safe out there.